said the Kuzma video was gonna come. I don't know if when I'm gonna post the Kuzma video. Stuff always coming up, but let's talk about Kyle Kuzma. Obviously, it's not gonna be a trade. He's a free agent. Excuse me for misleading people. I just forgot. But free agent spotlight kicking off with Kyle Kuzma. Start that playlist right now. Obviously, he's been rumored to be a Piston target for a second now. Take my shoes off while I'm on break. Somebody that Troy Weaver kind of like. I don't really see a fit here, and I'm explaining why. And I'll try to make my best case scenario for why it's a fit. I think starting off on a positive note, just his versatility. I mean, he gives you some time at the 5 in smaller lineups. He gives you some time at the 3. He gives you some time at the 4. Underrated athlete, I believe. He could do some things off the dribble. I think he's more of a scorer than a shooter. Y'all know how I feel what they need, with the Pistons. I feel they could use another scorer off the bench, another true scorer. I think he's a true scorer. You got guys who can shoot and who can score. You got guys who balance. I mean, you look at Ray Allen's career. A lot of people remember kind of Ray Allen, kind of the Roy Jones effect, where a lot of people remember, Roy Jones after after losing and coming down from heavyweight and struggling with Tarver, getting knocked out by Tarver. And, just continuing to fight on and lose. And people remember and say, well, Roy fought so long, it tarnished his legacy. And it did. Because, unfortunately for Roy, the tail end of his career, when he just kept being addicted to fighting, it fell in the digital era, in the social media era. So that's what people see more than the Superman clips, even though he's one of the greatest boxers that I've ever seen. One of my favorite, probably my second favorite behind Aaron Pryor. But kind of tarnished his his legacy a little bit, but hey, nonetheless, but I didn't forgot I was talking about at that point. But hey, with Kuzma, I think they could use another kick off the bench a little bit, as far as another scorer off the bench or whatever. To go 1-2 a Bojanovic, or if they lose him, kind of replace him. But kind of with Kuz, man, he's more of a scorer, and that's what he is. He don't shoot the ball particularly well, but he can get it off the dribble. He's not a great defensive player neither. He's kind of one of those dudes who better when you kind of like on a bad team, you give him the green light to score. Not a great floor spacer. He when he starts scoring, he can shoot. But me personally, he should improve as a defensive player. His feet kind of heavy a little bit. He seemed to be quicker when he got the ball in his hand. But you like to see him on the post a little bit more. I think he's so offensively talented that if he started taking 10 to 15 footers and start playing with his back to this basket, and don't forget he from Flint too, he started putting his back to the basket, I think he could be a more efficient player. Start playing block to block, elbow to elbow, and I think if he started getting it cooking on the block a little bit more and inside the 3-point line, then he get into a rhythm and facing guys up, taking them off the dribble. Then if he get into a rhythm, then I think his 3-point percentage will go up instead of taking 6-7 threes a game, about good 3 or 4, because he gonna get into a rhythm inside the arc a little bit, get to the free throw line more. I think he can be easily an all-star. He got that type of talent, but I think kind of with Jeremy Grant, he better on a bad team when he's a scoring option, when he's a 1 or 2 scoring option. So, but defensively, he don't got that Grant. He don't have the ability that Grant got defensively. So, to me, it just don't seem like a fit. As far as when you kind of talk about what they need, 3 and D guys, but good ball handler. But I just think if he was to play with his back to the basket a little bit more, and be more efficient from inside the arc, I think his 3-point, I think he'd be a 40% 3-point shooter, but wild shooter. I just don't think you need no more scorers on the floor. The type of money you're gonna pay him, you don't need no more scorers on the floor with Cade Cunningham. Guys that are scorers, flat out scorers, not shooters. I was talking about Ray Allen a little. That's what I was talking about. Where people kind of forget that Ray Allen was people remember that Ray, because he fell in the digital social media era too, that Ray people just remember Ray for being a shooter. But in Ray prime, when he was battling Allen Iverson in the Western Conference Finals and shit, the Eastern Conference playoffs, excuse me, they might have been the Eastern Conference Finals, I remember. And he was more of a complete scorer, bro. He was a bucket. He could do everything. pull-up jumper, even in Seattle, get to the rim. People forget because he was buried in Seattle. Get to the free throw line, and people kind of forgot how real complete Ray Allen was. But I think Kyle Kuzma just he could be more efficient. And I think being more efficient is kind of playing with your back to the basket a little bit more, drop stepping, facing up, taking bigger guys off the dribble. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see it really being the fit. I don't see it being a fit. You don't get enough. You don't get enough shooting, and you don't get nothing defensively. Simple as that. You know, I think he one of those dudes that might benefit playing in the Mike D'Antoni system or a system with pace. He would benefit playing with LaMelo Ball, Chris Paul. You know, and maybe that's something that the Washington Wizards be interested in. Kyle Kuzma for DeAndre Ayton swap or something like that. I don't know if they'd be interested, but he'd kind of be like, he'd be better off in playing with a Chris Paul. He'd probably be better off playing out there in Oklahoma City Thunder, depending on how healthy Shat is coming back. He'd be better in that situation, man, playing with guys who gonna find him, playing with a younger team with legs, but he not committed enough defensively, and he don't shoot good enough to be on this to be what we need. And kind of the guys that it ain't all rumors, dude. Like, all this shit is rumors. We don't know what Troy Weaver thinking, so I can't really put that on him. But they are rumors. But some of the dudes like Jeremy Grant, some of the dudes like Kyle Kuzma that's linked to the team, they make no sense. They just more scores than what you need. And they got a vision, but you know, if some of the reports that's true about their vision is not gonna win it. He don't know what it take to win in Detroit. And I kind of understand why Joe Dumars got mad at Tom Gores, but then again, you can't be holding no grudges. You got to understand, when somebody go buy a new house, what's the first thing you want to do in the new house? If you go not rent one, you go buy one, you gonna want to make it your own. I remember Big Sean said he bought his mom a house, and she gutted the house. Like, damn, you know, she gutted the house and wanted to redo everything over again. So he basically bought her another house. So that's what people gonna do when they get a house. They gonna want to re-gut the house. You know, they gonna want to make it their home. A house is a home for love, whatever they say. But yeah, heartbeats. But yeah. And what, you know, that's what he kind of got to remember. But the person that's re-gutting the house in Tom Gores, you got to understand there's a culture here, and there's a proven formula in Detroit that needs to be, you know, if you alter it, but it needs to be the base formula to win here, and they don't understand that. You got to have Detroit character guys, and that's one thing the Lions ain't never learned. They want to build a choir boy, but they don't represent the city of Detroit. They never had a team that represented the city of Detroit. Barry Sanders was flashy and all that shit. We love him. They was a high-flying offense back then. But, you know, when you talk about teams like Pittsburgh and Baltimore and those defensive teams, the Steel Curtain, the 2000 whatever, I think of the 2000 Ray, whatever it was, that's what Detroit should be built on. Even though, and that's kind of been the complaint about the Lions playing in the dome and shit, but that's what we should be built on, bro. Is a team that's going to smack you in the mouth on both sides of the football. That's what it's about. And Tom Gores got to understand, in Troy Weaver, there's a formula to win in Detroit. And it's team basketball, defensive first basketball, gritty, grimy, scrappy, even though they got to be gentrified now in this new era of basketball. That's what it's about. You know? And if guys don't want to come here and play defense, and guys don't want to come here and scrap and get better and be passionate, and they scared to get their hands dirty, they scared to play with an attitude, you know, they scared to play with an edge, we don't need you. That's one thing I do like about that Memphis Grizzlies team. They play with an attitude and a swagger and a cockiness, and that's what they need. They embodying the grindhouse Memphis Grizzlies. This is their version of it. You know what I'm saying? But Kuzma not one of those guys. So I'm not one of the fits. No offense to the personality from Flint, but as far as the schematic fit, I don't think it's a fit. But I could be wrong. But hey, check out Detroit Piston Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button, it's the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video. Financially, want to support the channel. Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree, find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole nine. Hit the link tree. Find me everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.